the resting actor. You know, this is one of those terms that I absolutely hate. I actually think I hate it more than most terms. Because quite frankly, actors don't really rest. It's this basic assumption that when actors are in between jobs, they are doing one of two things. The first is that they're at their minimum wage job and they are really bitter and twisted about the fact that the whole industry has passed them by, and you know, it's the common joke of, oh, do you want fries with that? That's what they teach you at acting school. It's so dull. But then the other assumption, especially for actors who are somewhat of a certain level of success, is that when those actors are in between jobs, they're just lounging about, eating strawberries and drinking champagne and just waiting for the phone to ring for the next massive, massive job to come through. And quite frankly, none of that's true. When actors are in between work, they are not idle, nor are they bitter and twisted. We are simply in between jobs. And that was very much true for a lot of people in completely different industries to us when the 2008 recession hit and when a little cheeky pandemic hit a couple of years ago. The amount of people that went on furlough and the amount of people that were made redundant and were therefore in between jobs was really, really high. And if they can do it, so can actors. We can be in between jobs. So first and foremost, we need to take that stigma away. But before we go about actually changing the industry and changing the world, speaking specifically to actors, the first thing that we actually need to do is just let yourself off the hook. Acknowledge the fact that you are probably going to be out of work more than you are in work, at least at the very beginning of your career. That's kind of just the nature of the beast. There are way too many actors and not enough jobs. You're going to be going into audition rooms with tens and hundreds of people who look exactly like you and act exactly like you because you're going for exactly the same job. So the competition is fierce. It's not impossible, but it is fierce. So yeah, the likelihood is you're going to spend large portions of time out of work. And I mean out of acting work, not just kind of destitute at the side of the road. So we kind of need to let ourselves off the hook for that, but also make our peace with that. And knowing that just plugging away, being consistent, and actually just outperforming and outlasting the people that just don't have that same level of patience. Because this is a lifelong pursuit. This is a lifelong career. So we need to have tools and processes and coping strategies in place for those times when we are in between acting jobs. So these are the top things of what I recommend to keep your morale high, to be investing in yourself consistently, and just keeping yourself sane in between those very kind of tumbleweed times. And to create opportunities for yourself, because we don't just rest on our laurels and allow an agent to just kind of get us all the jobs or casting directors come knocking at our doors. So let's get started with that list. So number one on the list of when you have downtime as an actor, you can be working on a skill. The importance of having a hobby or having a skill that you can actually just kind of go to in your own time or in between jobs is really, really valuable. One, because any hobby that you have or any skill that you have can be put on your Spotlight CV. But the other beauty of hobbies is that it does keep you sane. It can get you out of the house. It can take your mind off of actually kind of going, where's the next job coming from? What am I doing with my career? It takes the pressure off and it allows you to kind of stay away from that massive hustle burnout culture. And as you're decompressing and actually just kind of focusing on a hobby, you're also honing a skill that can be put and transferred onto a Spotlight CV. So it's kind of a win-win. The first thing that I always think of when it comes to skills and hobbies is something like a sport. Yoga, badminton, football, tennis, swimming. Especially sports that are team sports, because the likelihood is you will be outside and we already know what that does for your mental health, and it gets you socializing. It gets you actually kind of navigating situations with people that you wouldn't necessarily on an everyday basis. The people that are in your football team might not be actors, and that is a good thing. If you just surround yourself with actors, all you're going to be talking about is acting. You can also think of skills that are a little bit more specialized. Horse riding, stage combat, martial arts, archery, fire poi. Something that would be really good for a period piece, a period TV show or film, or just something that looks really kind of impressive on a CV. Other skills could be singing, languages, accents, musical instruments. Those kinds of things can be really, really important, really valuable when it comes to auditions, especially if you are auditioning for shows that aren't just straight acting, that they actually include those kinds of skills skills within them, they can be really, really valuable for you getting in the door. The next thing that you can be doing with your downtime is IMDb the things and the people that you are watching. So this is a brilliant way to know who's casting what, who's working on what, what's out in the world at the moment in terms of acting. So watching a film or watching a TV show and then actually waiting for the credits, seeing who actually cast it, Googling them, looking up their IMDb, what other projects have they worked on, what are they casting at the moment, who do they seem to work with consistently, and through that you can find contact details. I've spent a number of years actually developing my own little database of industry contacts of people that I have watched on TV or found out who's casting this and it's linked to somebody else, and it all gets added to this database so that if an audition comes through, I know who they are, and it means that I don't need to do as much research. And it also gives you a reason to contact people. Hey, I watched this show recently, I really, really liked it, I'd love to be considered for this project that you have coming up. Spending that downtime actually networking and emailing people and trying to kind of form those connections within the industry is really, really valuable. Mostly because it's a people's industry. A lot of the time it's about who you know and how you can get in front of them. What I would say though is do not contact industry professionals, casting directors, theatre companies, etc. through Twitter. That tends not to be the platform that people like to be approached on, and it comes across as slightly unprofessional. So make sure that if you are going to be contacting industry professionals, that you do it through the legitimate channels, i.e. email. The next thing that you can be doing is reinvesting in your already existing skills. So that basically means taking class or going to a workshop or attending a masterclass. Signing up to a workshop, whether that is in person or online, can be hugely beneficial for just keeping your skills sharp. So when an audition does come in, you are ready, you're not rusty. It also keeps your mind ticking over in a creative way, along with if you're doing something in person, it gets you actually involved with like-minded individuals. It gets you actually working alongside other actors and creatives, so you get to actually strengthen those bonds that you already have within your community. There are loads all over the United Kingdom. There's MAP 48 in Manchester, for example. Fantastic classes, and I'll link them here below. It can also help to advance your skills, so not just kind of keeping them ticking over and reminding you, but actually adding to your arsenal. So say if you have a fundamental, basic level understanding of how to self-tape, then what you could do is actually just sign up for my masterclass that I have coming up on the 30th of March. So whether you are a complete beginner to self-taping or whether you have been doing it for a little while and just want to add to your skill set, my masterclass is something to really, really contemplate investing in. I'm going to put a link in the description below to book your space, and obviously let me know in the comments if you've got any questions or need any clarity on what the self-tape is actually going to entail. But believe me, it's going to be amazing, so sign up. Number 4 of the list of things to do whilst you are having some actors downtime. Get a handle on your finances. That's right, kids. I never said that any of this was going to be enjoyable. I did say that it was going to be valuable though. So as much as getting a handle on your finances and making sure that everything is ticking over within a database seems really boring, and believe me it is incredibly important. If you are an actor, then you are freelancing. If you are freelancing, you need to submit your own tax return. You do not want to come to January, one of the most difficult financial months of the year, because you've just gone past December, which tends to be the month that everybody spends a heck of a lot of money. You don't want to be getting to January and then being caught out because you didn't know how much your tax bill was going to be. So use the opportunity whilst you do not have any actors work on to get a handle on those things. Understanding what your incomings are, what your outgoings are, what are expenses, what are actually taxable career-orientated expenses, along with how much commission your agent is taking. And even if you wanted to, submit your tax return early. You don't have to pay it early. You can just submit it early, so at least then you know how much you're going to be paying come January. I actually have my own process and my own databases and spreadsheets for how I handle my finances for my incomings and outgoings as an actor, as a professional creative within the industry. And if this is something that you would want expanded, then please let me know in the comments and I can do an entire video just on that subject. Wouldn't that be a lot of fun? Number 5 of the things to do whilst you are not working. Get outside. Now, I know that this is something that is said a lot, but getting outside once a day does wonders for your mental health. Now look, we've just come out of a pandemic where we had government mandated once a day, go outside, that's all you're allowed. And we saw the impact of what that did on people's mental health. Being cooped up all day is not good for us. We fundamentally understood that back in 2020, so don't let it slip now. Especially if you are going to part-time work, if you are working in a coffee shop or an office as a temp or pulling pints in a bar at at nighttime and then you're sleeping during the day, and then you're commuting, getting on public transport, and you're constantly in an environment where you are inside, carving out even just half an hour or an hour a day to go outside. Bonus points if you can get outside and actually experience a bit of nature, a little bit of greenery. That is going to do wonders for you, believe me. So don't think that that is not productive, because it is productive. We need to get away from this idea that it has to be constantly hustle, hustle, hustle. Investing in your own mental health and your peace of mind is going to actually give you longevity more than just hustle, hustle, hustle within this industry. We need resilience. We actually need mental clarity and mental strength. And you can't have that unless you are grounded within yourself and within the earth. I know that sounded a little bit hippy-dippy, but go with me. Number 6, keep your circle positive. Now, I remember speaking to another actor whilst we were both on a long-running job, that if actors had a collective noun, much like crows are a murder of crows, or it's a pride of lions, or a lunch of producers, that the collective noun for actors would be a complaint of actors. And I've always loved that. I think it's absolutely fantastic, because the best way to make an actor complain is either give them a job or don't give them a job. We're never satisfied. We're never pleased. Now look, I love a good moan as much as the next person, but if you are consistently around a group of people who are just talking negatively about the industry, about their opportunities or lack thereof, and about how everything is stacked against you or them, then that is going to start to eat away at you, and you're going to start viewing yourself, your place within the industry, and the industry itself in a very negative way. So concentrate that whilst you're not working specifically as an actor, that you are keeping the circle around you as positive as you can. Number 7, and this is a really good suggestion actually, and it's something that I've done a fair bit of when I've been out of work as an actor, and it's reading stuff with your actor friends. I still look back on this memory with real fondness. When I was based in London, I had some actor friends, and one that actually came over from Canada who was kind of trying to crack into the industry in the UK, and she came up with this amazing idea that a bunch of us were just going to go over to her flat, we were going to have some wine, we were going to have some food, and we were going to read a play together. We all had our own little parts, and then we were just going to spend the evening drinking wine and being creative. And although it didn't come to anything, it didn't actually accumulate into a performance, we weren't actually being cast, it wasn't a credit on a CV, it was an amazing experience, because we were doing something that was actually enjoyable. We got to rekindle that idea that it wasn't just about struggle, it was about creativity. And it was a community-based thing as well, which always boosts your mood, because it makes you feel like you're just not alone, that you're not alone in the struggle, that you're not alone in your unemployment, and that you can all come together and actually contribute in a creative way. And wine. So try it for yourself, get some actor friends together and actually just find a play or find a script and just read it together. Whether that is a scene or a monologue or an entire play, it can really benefit you. Now, if you are struggling for finding text, then what I would recommend is sign up to my newsletter, because every Friday I do what's called the Friday Roundup, where I send out to my email newsletter list a bunch of recommendations for plays and TV shows and films and quotes and things to think about and talking points, and that goes out to you every single Friday. So you're being given recommendations of text that you could potentially use in these situations. Another thing that you can do is check out my website, which has contemporary speech recommendation lists, and it can give you access to a whole host of contemporary writing that is out there that is suitable for particular age ranges and particular subject matters and themes, things that you might want to explore. And both of those things I have linked here below. Number 8 in the list of things to do whilst you are having actors downtime. Go to the theatre. Go to the cinema. You're not going to know what is happening in the industry unless you are going and experiencing the industry. So along with being able to IMDb things that have already been made, actually watch the things that are in the theatres right now. It will give you a sense of inspiration, it will give you things to talk about when you actually go in for auditions, and it can open your eyes to new potential texts that you can use for those wine and script reading nights. And also, don't just go and watch the most recent kind of blockbuster that's in the cinema. Go and see some independent stuff as well. Things that are lottery funded or from the BFI. They will open your eyes to other potential filmmakers, people that you can actually contact and collaborate with. Again, it's networking. And the last and final suggestion that I have come up with, that if you are having some actors downtime, you can create your own work. Now, back in the day, I graduated from drama school, quit the industry, went off and became a camera assistant on feature films and TV dramas, and did that for about 5 years. And then I decided that I didn't want to do that, and I wanted to claw my way back into being an actor. So in the process of trying to claw my way back into this industry, I noticed that I didn't have any credits for my Spotlight CV. I had nothing recent. I had no reason to be writing to casting directors or writing to agents to seek representation. I had nothing. So my decision was to create my own work. I had a movement director when I was at drama school, Angela, who is just an absolute god. And she recommended a one-woman script to me, and she said that it would be really, really suited to me. She recommended it when I was in drama school, and I held on to it for a number of years. And then I just went, do you know what? And I bit the bullet and I got in touch with the literary agent of that playwright, and I asked if I could have the rights to the play. And I got the rights to the play. So then I just put the play on. I crowdfunded for some money. I think it was about £2,000 or something. I got a director on board. I got Angela as my movement director on board. I got the script, I got a venue. I rehearsed. I had a photographer come in and take all of the production shots. I rounded up loads and loads of people to come and see it. And it got me a credit, and it got an agent to come and see me, and it got an artistic director of a fringe theatre in London to come and see me, and then that led to a job, and then that job led to another job, and then that job ended up being a whole host of other jobs, and my career started to kind of fly from there, which was amazing. And it all came from the fact that I took the initiative and I decided, no one's giving me any work, so I need to make some work of my own. It gave me ownership of what I was doing as part of my creative path. I had something to work towards. I had agency over my own destiny. And although it was a lot of work and I didn't know what I was doing and it was really, really scary and I was fighting imposter syndrome left, right, and center, it was an amazing experience and one that I'm incredibly, incredibly proud of. So if you're struggling to actually get things on your CV, to actually get in employment in the first instance, think about actually creating your own work. Now, this is quite a big, wide subject. So if this is something that you would be interested in knowing more about and actually kind of figuring out what the building blocks are for being able to actually put on your own creative work in a city like London, for example, then comment below and I will make an entire video on it. So that is all of the stuff that I think that you could potentially be looking into when you are finding that you are a resting actor. Again, letting yourself off the hook for knowing that you are not going to be consistently in employment as an actor at any one given time, and that just constantly reinvesting in yourself, in your well-being, in your skills, keeping yourself positive, surrounding yourself with good people, all of that is going to help with your longevity within a career and within an industry that can be a little bit relentless. I hope you found this really, really useful, and if you did, then just make sure that you click like and that you subscribe to the channel, and also pass this on to people that you think will benefit from it. And like I said, if you've got any questions, any queries, then put them in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time,